podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
I took my L, and I bounced back.
Hey, Daddy, this a dollar bill.
BoxingVoice.com.
No matter what nobody say, man, spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, your kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar. I feel like he was straight up and down, no special effects.
BoxingVoice.com.
How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for $300 million, and I made $350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another glorious morning edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. Hashtag TBV podcast, whatever hashtags they'll use. And don't forget to follow us on all forms of social media at the Boxing Voice so you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest in boxing. You know, plus, you know, a lot of people say they don't get notifications. If you follow us on Twitter, we always tweet out the links. With enough time, too. Always before the show. So follow us on Twitter at The Boxing Voice and at Instagram at The Boxing Voice. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking Tyson Fury wanting a fourth fight with Wilder if Wilder can get the knockout. So this was something that we discussed, you know, like what if Wilder wins? Do we get a fourth fight? Someone brought it up to one of our guests saying that it would be, you know, unprecedented. It would be the biggest, or could it be the biggest heavyweight fight in history because we never had anyone go 4 fights. And the fact that Tyson's still treating Wilder as a dangerous foe and considering the knockout. Honestly, I mean, after his performance, I thought that he would continue to be very confident and that the knockout wouldn't even be in his mind. Especially with him saying that he was going to batter Wilder in the next fight. But this is what we're going to be discussing, and it's coming from the Adam Smith Sky Sports interview. Shout out to Fury, first and foremost, for being a top rank and a BT fighter and continuously getting that shine on Sky Sports. And obviously Sky Sports is the network that houses one Anthony Joshua. So that's why it's a little even more, like, wow, you know, a competing network helping the opposing heavyweight with clout. But yeah, man, this is what we're going to be talking about. If you're interested, you already know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time, voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype from anywhere in the world to be part of the conversation and give us your 2 cents. Because, look, we don't claim to be know-it-alls, even though I might. Let's go out to Mr. Monguilla in Texas.
It's me, Mario.
What up? What up? Shout out to me for having my notifications on. Otherwise, I might not have made this show. I was ready for the rap battles, but we got this little early morning pre-rap battle show. All good. Yeah, listen, it's not something we've talked a lot about because it's not something I've thought a lot about. Obviously, there's a huge contingent of people who believe that Deontay Wilder is absolutely going to win the third fight, and he is the favorite in that fight. That said, I, I'm not part of that contingent, but it's definitely something that could happen. And if it were to happen, whoa, what would happen? That's what we'll chop up. That's what we'll talk about. I definitely have a couple of different vantage points looking at it, which way to go, which way not to go. Definitely would be crazy to have a fourth fight back to back to back. That's just my opinion, but we'll chop it up. What up, Doom?
I'm the most brutal, most vicious, and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Legs to the conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody like me. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match.
Get your cup of coffee ready. Yeah, and you few across the pond and tea is what you fancy. Get that ready too. Cause Wilder, Tyson Fury 4. Yeah, that's on the mind right now. And nobody really thinks about that, right? Nobody really thinks about a fourth one because there's so many mandatory things going on and people got plans and all that. But shout out to anybody who stubbed their toe this morning. Don't worry, things are gonna get better for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought of the fourth fight here and there because there's callers that call in and believe that Wilder can get the knockout in this third fight. This interview was pretty good. It was only 5 minutes. It was on Sky Sports. And they spoke of mental health and physical health. And man, I'm just so used to Tyson talking greasy. So this came out of left field for him to seriously be contemplating a fourth fight. I would have just thought he's like, I'm going to batter Wilder, go into the AJ fight. But he's saying the opposite. He's saying, Wilder can knock me out and there will be no AJ fight. So I think because he wants to try and be undisputed, he's putting the focus solely on Wilder. So I think it's the fear of the threat that is Wilder, but also not allowing there to be a threat by fully preparing and focusing on Wilder, if that makes any sense.
How much control does he really have over that notion or that statement, right? Because if Wilder knocks him out, I mean, is there going to be another rematch clause? Like, how many rematch clauses? Can you go clause for clause and hold up the whole heavyweight division?
Well, no, there would be no rematch clause. This is the third fight is part of the rematch clause, so that would be it. Any other fight after this would mean that there'd be a new contract in place.
Anything after this, they would have to negotiate. Whoever wins this last fight walks away, similar to Anthony Joshua in the Ruiz fight. But, if you're Wilder, do you mind the fourth fight? And if you're Fury, he has to want the fourth fight, right? Because again, there will be no contract for a fourth one. And according to Fury's vision of what could happen, it would be by knockout. So really the decision and the ball is in the court of Fury because now he has to see how devastating the knockout is. And can he come back directly after the fight? Like, people are questioning Wilder. Can he come back right after his knockout? People question AJ. Can he come back after his knockout? So it would be the same questions for Fury, and we would have to wait and see if he says, we're 2-1. You owe me another one. You know the draw. I really won it. You knocked me out. I knocked you out, but I got that draw. I won that draw. Give me another fight. So it's really up to Fury, right? After the fight to see. And even Wilder himself could come out and say, look, I want another one with him. We make great fights together. Some of the people thought I lost the draw. Let's go again. It all depends how good that fight is. Does it merit it? Do we want it? Are we tired? A lot of things to.
Yo,
You know.
I just got a picture right now of Wilder maybe out. Is there a picture where it happens where Wilder outboxes Fury for 12 rounds, and then he just like he doesn't get knocked out, but he got outboxed. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he can. I don't know that his style indicates that it's possible, but we've seen him outbox Bermain Stavern. The problem is Bermain and Tyson are not the same.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I pride myself on, always having the quotes and everything ready, but definitely don't have it this morning. So I'm gonna go based on the assumption that Ness is right, that he has said that they go right into a fourth Wilder fight. That's bad business to me. I don't think that. Listen, to fight a fourth fight, that's great at some point, but not back to back. And probably not within a year or two, because if you think about the time frame, even though Wilder was able to get 2 fights in before the second Fury fight, Fury was able to get his fights in, they happened basically within a year time span. Tyson Fury, that was 2018 December, right? Then they came back February 2020. So it was just over a year. But because of the excitement of the first fight, it was like, whoa. A third fight, regardless of how great it is, if Deontay Wilder were to win, it evens it up on paper. Now, for me, it's not even. But for me, it's even enough that these guys can go their separate ways at that point and have taken something from each other to build off of and roll on and continue to go and make a path. Fury can go fight Joshua if he loses, and it's still a big fight. Is it as big as if, they were to fight off of the win? No, but it's still a big fight, very significant, and for Wilder, it's the same thing. For him to come back and get that clout, whatever remains of it, maybe it's even more than expected, depending on how he executes the win in a third fight, he can go on and still have big business.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a Ruiz fight there, and there's plenty of things on the horizon.
Now, looking at it now, like that draw makes it, I think, a little more possible for everyone to accept the fourth fight, because like you got a draw, you lost, and now it's up to Deontay to get this win. You know what I mean? And then if he gets the win, I wouldn't be mad at a fourth fight. Juan Manuel Marquez and Pacquiao fought how many times? Was it 3 or 4?
4.
4 times. So I never got tired of that. That was always a very entertaining matchup. So yeah, you got dance partners that you could do that with. But if I'm Deontay and I beat Fury, and if there is no rematch clause, like, I'm moving on to AJ. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get that money. And, as much as Tyson Fury brings, man, like AJ's always been that guy that has also global attention,
that could be Fury playing with the minds of the people, putting it out there in case he does lose. Then his fans are like, oh, well, remember when Fury won? He said he would give Wilder a 4 fight had Wilder knocked him out. Why's Wilder ducking him? Fury was going to do it. He gave him 2 rematches. He really beat him in the draw. You got to think of what the trolls will say. Trolls will say he beat him in the draw, gave him a rematch. He knocked him out, gave him a rematch. Now Wilder knocks him out and runs. That's what they're going to say.
Yeah, listen, there's always going to be, that kind of backlash. But it boils down to business. What does business dictate? And I think no matter how Fury were to lose a third fight, if he were to lose it all, he'd want that get back. But in terms of the pure economics of it, it just doesn't really make sense right away, because it's a big fight, but it's look, everybody loves the McRib, or most people. I don't really love it.
Wait a minute.
A lot of people love the McRib.
But do they even still make the McRib, dog?
But listen,
for limited times.
Listen, but you got to listen to the point. So they bring that McRib back every once in a while, right? And it's like, whoa, we got it back. Hooray, let's go get it. You know what I'm saying? All the calories in the world, put them in my face. But even as good as it is for some people love it, it's like you can have enough of it. You know what I'm saying? And so even though Fury Wilder has been great up until now, and if a third fight were to continue that success in Wilder's favor, it's still like, okay, chill, champ. Like it's good business and it's a good fight and it's something that can be done now on paper. It's like, whoa, it's 1-1-1. We got to settle this score. But ultimately, it's unnecessary to go right back into it. And as a champion and as a competitor, I'm sure Fury would want that rematch right away, just like Wilder wants his get back right away. But it just doesn't economically, to me, they have their clout. They have what they needed from each other. They took a win from each other and now they're off to do other business. Okay. And ultimately it wouldn't matter what happens afterwards. Like they both know that the top remains in them too. You know, there's three men at that sport. So
that's why I think this is Fury putting out the seed to Wilder. Like, bro, if you beat me, let's keep doing our thing. Don't go fight AJ. There's no rematch clause. Undisputed is out there. All the UK fans right now are like, oh, Wilder shouldn't even take this fight. Let us go straight into AJ. But I guarantee you now, because Fury said, oh, fourth fight, if you knock me out, they're going to be cool with that. It won't be, oh, yeah, Wilder should go straight and fight AJ. No, they want their all-out British affair. That's what they want. They want to make history, which is understandable. It's never happened before. So I get the wanting, the yearning for it. But I think that's what Fury's doing. He's planting the seed. Because we all know if he wins, he's going straight into the AJ fight.
I think, you know what? You're making a clear point there. And I'm going to have to say that in some UK crazy world, I think that if Deontay does beat Fury, it could happen that AJ dodges Deontay and he takes a fight with Fury. You know, a domestic fight. I mean, what do you think, Mario? I mean, that it's happened before where making that AJ fight's always been difficult. Do you think Deontay wins? He's willing to take that, or does he? Fight somebody like Dillian Whyte again, or
As far as planting the seed, perhaps that's what this is. But ultimately, I don't think that it would be Fury trying to keep Wilder from the AJ fight should he win. I think it would be Fury who have the most chance of landing the AJ fight first, based exactly on what you said. The AJ Wilder fight is toxic. Those negotiations are toxic. That fight, it's just not going to happen before Fury, in my opinion. I don't see it happening. I think that these guys are ready to fight each other. And with Wilder and AJ, I don't know if it's there. There are ways to spin it.
You're giving their team an out. AJ Wilder.
What team? Which team?
Hear me out. Oh, wow, AJ Wilder's so difficult to make. It's so difficult to make. I'd rather Fury win because him and AJ will easily do business, not just based on the fact that they can do business, but based on the fact that it's all British affair. It's bullshit. We should have the same energy. We should have the same energy for Undisputed, whether it's an American or two Brits.
Yeah, that's great. And whoever you're debating there, I hope they have a good counterpoint, because that's absolutely not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that Wilder wins, they have equally gotten something out of each other. Fury has gotten something, Wilder has gotten something. This isn't necessarily a game of tag, and that's how sometimes boxing fans and boxing journalists strip this sport down to, is a game of tag. I got you. Oh, I'm going to get you back. Okay, I got you now. Now you're it. Now I'm the guy. Like, no, that's not how this works. And ultimately, I think that they both would have the kind of clout that they could go out and do their own separate thing and make plenty of money. And I think that Fury would still get that AJ fight regardless.
So is this like a see you down the line type of fight with
Sure, I think so.
All right. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that either. If he beat him and
who down the line though? Who's seeing who down the line?
If he took on if he took on AJ,
who?
Deontay wins, right? And he takes on AJ. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if he took on AJ first and Fury and Deontay 4 happened later. Maybe Fury can go fight a Whyte. Handle things while he recollects himself. You know what I'm saying? If he loses, and it all depends how he loses, man. Like I tell you, he can get knocked out, and then he can also just get battered, for most of the rounds. There's a lot of ways this could play out. So the way you lose is also a big factor, I think.
It is a huge factor because, if Fury were to get knocked out cold, embarrassed, humiliated type of thing, yeah, that takes a lot of clout from him, and he would have to come back, and he'd probably have to have a significant win before he got an AJ fight or any fight really. But ultimately, he could do that still because the argument is still there. It's 1-1-1. And so I don't think it's about who's chasing who. I think that these guys, some guys in boxing, there's just a matchups where they're just like magnets to each other. Pacquiao Marquez is the one that Doomy brought up. These guys were just magnets. They made money, they made great fights. And they made sense. And no matter how many years were in between these fights, no matter how many opponents, no matter which one of them won and lost, it didn't matter. That fight was always there. They still wanted to do a fifth fight, all that time later, a couple years later, right? They still wanted to do a fifth fight. And for Marquez, that was really the only fight he wanted. And guess what? Manny was the one who wasn't interested at that point. So it's like, just because Wilder gets the win at the end doesn't strip Fury of any of the clout that he's earned. And also at the same time, Wilder losing, but coming back and getting a win in any fashion gives him that clout as well. So there are plenty of fights, big money fights in the division that can be made that don't revolve around strictly Fury and Wilder. So they go on, they do their thing, they make their money, and when they come back to an eventual fourth fight under these circumstances, it's bigger than ever. And by the way, I think a fourth fight is still possible even if Wilder were to lose. Imagine a scenario where Fury wins, beats AJ, right? And
Alex,
both of them, then those guys were, then they can come back and do that.
Yeah, you have froze up a little bit.
My bad. As like Whyte or Ruiz, and he does that, and we want that fight, regardless. So, wins and losses don't always dictate the money and the terms. Some guys just make sense together, and it seems like Fury and Wilder are two of those guys.
I don't know, man. Fury, again, he's giving me the indication that he doesn't want Wilder to go into the AJ fight if Wilder were to stop him. He's saying, there'll be a fourth fight. And he has to be, because there's no contract, he has to be basing that off, like how Wilder would feel. Does Wilder feel one knockout win over Fury trumps everything that's taken place in the last 2 years? I think that's what he's banking on because, he's saying if Wilder knocks me out, there'll be a fourth fight. And
what kind of loss it is. If he's knocked out so bad in the first round, we might be talking if he ever comes back, period. There might not be a need for a fourth fight because Fury might not ever fight again. Before we got Wilder, AJ, I can't see the scenario where Wilder wins and then they go into immediate Wilder AJ fight.
AJ has to fight Pula.
What do you think? Wait, so what do you think would happen? Wilder beats Fury and then what?
I mean, for him to go back to back with Fury, who's arguably the number one in the world, I think right away he pumps the brake a little bit, and he deserve a softer touch. You know what I mean? Both men would deserve a softer touch.
But
at
are
that
you?
Point.
Do you really take a risk of AJ fighting other people and not go for undisputed? I don't think so at this point.
But why would you say I don't think so when that's exactly what's been happening?
Exactly, been happening. Now he's 34. He suffered his first loss. I think just like AJ, everything gets put into perspective. Just like Errol Spence in the car accident, you get clarity. And he's like, well, I'm getting older. I might as well go now. I already lost. I might as well go now. I mean, the negativity, not just from you, but like from people in general. Like, look, we all feel a certain type of way. Me and Alex argue all the time. All the time. all the time. And then it's like, yo, man, I was just mad 2 days later. And it's like, nah, but you said that. Yo, I was upset, bro. And that's just it. So I think we grow. So to assume that, because Eddie and Shelly had an issue negotiating in the past, that they're going to have that issue now, especially when everyone sees the economics. See, remember, there was no economic analytics in the past. Eddie had the right and the ability to say, who are you? What have you done? Look how much you're getting paid. What tickets are you selling? But we're so far removed. Like, what are they going to argue now? We got people from other countries offering millions and millions of dollars just to stage these fights, to assume, like Mario is, that we're still stuck in 2018 and Eddie's going to be, measuring his cock versus Wilder. I just don't believe that anymore. Not where we're at.
But the situation, though, for me, it's not about the negativity of their past dealings. It's the positivity of a heavyweight division that that's still on the rise and that has busted out. That's on a boom. There is money to be made elsewhere. So it's not that I'm saying that AJ Wilder isn't a fight that I want. I love that fight. I said it the other day that I don't care if they had belts or not. I don't care if they both come off of losses. I want to see that fight. I need to see that fight at some point. All I'm saying is that Fury and Wilder have taken a lot from each other. Not just physically, but economically, commercially. They've taken a lot from each other, and they have routes where they can make money. A Dillian Whyte fight with Wilder is a huge fight. An Andy Ruiz fight with Deontay Wilder could make a significant amount of money in America.
Let me try to persuade you, right, Mario? Let's say that, he beats Fury, right? It's a competitive fight. I think the Fury's saying that if he gets knocked out, he wants the fourth fight. If he gets knocked out, he wants the fourth fight. I don't know how he'd feel if it'd just be a competitive fight and, he gets out, he gets beat on the scorecard or whatever, and then maybe he wants to take the fight later. He doesn't mind so much. But if he gets knocked out, he wants it immediately, right? But let's say Deontay wins, beats him in a competitive fashion, beats him on the scorecard. He goes on to AJ, and now where was I going with this? All right. Let me gather my thought. Jump in if you want to.
Yeah. Listen, it's all good.
Brain fart.
Yo, this is what happens when I hold my thought and let you guys. I'm gonna cut you guys off.
Yo, it's so funny that happened, right? There's this part in that Netflix series Rectify where this state senator is talking to the the waitress at the restaurant, and he's trying to hit on her, and in mid-sentence, bro, he has a stroke. Half side of his body just goes limp, and he's like, damn,
is that what just happened?
Bro, yeah, you were mad incoherent. I'm like, what? He's like, wait,
it came back to me. It came back to me. So the whole point of me persuading Mario is, if he's not too battered up, how can he take that AJ fight back to back? And if it's a problem, like
AJ or Fury fight back to back, you're losing me now.
No, if Deontay beats Fury, all right, and he goes into the AJ fight, instead of taking that soft touch like Mario was saying, why not just give it a good rest? Instead of taking the fight, in 3 or 4 months, give it a 6-month rest or whatever. Let him recover and go straight into the AJ fight. I'd rather him take a longer rest time and go into an AJ fight than him take a softer touch, because and now you lost. So it's like, I'd rather just take it while I can get it now. Give him a nice rest time and let him jump straight into that AJ fight, man.
See, the reason why that's really still hard to persuade any sort of change, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with Wilder and Fury and AJ. It has nothing to do with AJ. I mean, I won't say it has nothing to do with AJ and Wilder's past negotiations, but ultimately what it has to do with is Mayweather-Pacquiao. How long did that fight make sense? How long did we know that was the richest fight in the history of the sport?
Yeah,
and how long did they continue to go their separate ways and make a ton of money?
It was
and
different.
That's the point, is that these guys have the ability to do that now. They've raised the stature of the boxing world as a whole, not to mention the heavyweight division. So that's my only point, is that there is other fights to be made, and I don't think that a fourth fight between the two is necessarily the route that either one of them should go. Maybe Fury would absolutely want to get it back because he's a competitor, but there's just money to be made elsewhere. And Pacquiao Mayweather showed me that they can stall big fights if there's money to be made elsewhere.
So your argument is that they won't go into the fourth fight.
Yeah, not right away.
Perfect. Because it sounds sometimes like you're arguing that Wilder won't go into the Tyson Fury 4 fight and Wilder won't go into the unification that Wilder somehow in your mind deserves, but I feel like your deserves is like you're faking it. Like you really want to say, yo, he needs to go back and rebuild. If he's able to win, go somewhere else. You had a really tough schedule. Go somewhere else, get some rest, then come back, then go for That's what it really sounds like you're saying. If
Listen,
I'm wrong,
we
I'm
all
wrong.
we're all self-conscious, so I forgive you for that. That's no problem. But yeah, I didn't say any of that. Reading into my words completely differently than what's been said. I don't think that. I think Wilder winning that fight is just that, him winning that fight, whether it's in devastating first-round knockout or 12-round unanimous decision or 12-round split decision. He wins the fight. He wins the fight. He's now the number one heavyweight in the world. And my only point is he dictates the shot there. And it's not that I think that, and that's the point that I'm making is that.
Damn. Is it me or is it him? Because I think Doomy froze too. Oh, it's definitely.
Who's going to.
It's definitely.
God damn it.
No,
okay,
it's
so the
on
way
my
that
end. It's on my end because I think that was my Skype because Doomy was froze too. So I'm sure Doomy was able to hear you.
Got you. So the whole point is that the reason why I think these fights would even be difficult to make is because I don't think AJ is going to concede to that idea that Wilder holds all the chips. He should absolutely say, okay, Wilder's the A side because he's the only guy that's beaten, the number one heavyweight in the world. And now he's the number one heavyweight in the world. But is he going to concede to the terms? Is he going to let him play the A side? I don't know. I don't know if his ego is too big for that. But ultimately, like I said, Wilder would be the guy that would deserve to dictate however anything happens after that.
I just don't think that we would even have that issue about dictating and desert. Like, it's the last fight, and I just want your energy to be the same. Like for Fury, people want him to come out of the Wilder fight and go straight into the AJ fight. If not, even not take this Wilder fight and go straight into the AJ fight. So I just want everyone to sound the same. If Wilder gets the knockout, it's like, oh, next should be AJ. Not that AJ's hard to negotiate with. Not that, is he going to concede to A side? Bro.
You got AJ calling him a bitch out there. Come on.
Your mic is disconnected.
Your mic disconnected, I think.
We're not hearing Fury and AJ bicker over A side, B side, and we're not hearing fans put that into the air for Fury and AJ. I don't know why all of a sudden if Wilder wins, AJ won't realize he's not A side. Wilder's gonna want to be like. I think and to go back to your Manny Pacquiao point, there was never a three-headed monster, even though Cotto was very comparable in this argument as a pay-per-view draw. He's not a heavyweight. He's not considered ever one of the top three. He was considered one of the top three pay-per-view stars, not one of the top three in any division at the same time with the other two. Like, we're talking about three number ones in people's eyes. In people's eyes. Wilder has his fandom, Tyson has his fandom, and AJ has his fandom. And those, any combination of those fights are big if Wilder can get the win. Obviously, if he loses again, he's removed from that conversation because everyone wants AJ Fury next or Fury AJ next.
But here's the problem. We should be wanting the rematch to that fight. We should have had that fight. We've been wanting that fight. That fight is the fight that we wanted and I still want, and I don't care if there's belts. I don't care if they lose. I want to see that fight. The thing is that Floyd Mayweather said it himself. Nobody's going to dictate these terms. Canelo's not going to come in and say, well, if I do that, then I'll fight Berto. You know what I'm saying? Like, and obviously not Berto, but, his version of that, like, to what we want. I think ultimately that fight happens someday for sure. Whether all the belts are on the line or whether no belts are on the line, that fight happens someday. But again, my only thing is that, these guys have fought, I'm talking about Fury and Wilder, each other. And that's something that that AJ hasn't done. So to, suggest that AJ has any say so in the way that fight gets dictated based on the fact that he is such an economic value, I just don't think it's fair at all. Like, not even a little bit.
I hear you, man. Let's go out to the callers and see what they think. You got any final thoughts, Alex? Because you did walk away. Nah, you don't care which way they go?
Microphone's down.
What?
Look at the pre-pro.
Oh. All right. Well, let me go on out to the sponsors. Open up these phone lines if you guys are interested in calling in. The number is 1-425-569-5241, or you can add us on Skype at Nestor Gibbs to be part of the conversation and give us your opinion. Let me go ahead and get to those sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
All right, let's go on out to Stainless in Detroit. What's going on, champ? Good morning.
Red belt, black belt, WO and green. I'm king. Undisputed GOAT, TBE. And you can catch the news first on TBV. Voice of the people now let me speak. Scientists of the sweet, BOXING.
Yo, TBV, what's good?
What up?
Chilling.
Yo, happy Saturday to y'all, man.
Thank you, brother.
Same
Likewise.
to you, brother.
Hey, man, appreciate that. It ain't nothing like waking up. On this topic, I'm a little thrown, but I'm back. All right, so on this topic, that's Fury saying if he get knocked out?
Yes.
I don't know, man. You can never really tell. I do agree with you if Wilder beats.
We definitely experienced some internet issues, and it ain't me. I just ran a test. I got fantastic internet right now, so it has to be some sort of outage, maybe, because I just did a test and it's pretty high. But let's go to the next caller. We got Sony, Cincinnati. Talk to me.
Yo, what's good, Ness? Good morning.
Good morning, champ. How you doing?
I'm doing. Hey, yo, bro, that whole Fury fourth fight, nah, dude. No fourth fight. If Wilder win, after all the drama, controversy, everything that went on in the first 2 fights, the trilogy, that should be the end of it. We're not talking about a Mayweather and a Pacquiao and Marquez type thing. Nah, whoever wins this fight, I think it should be done. They both should go their separate ways. If they meet up a couple years down the line, then that's fine. But nah, bro, no fourth fight, bro. It's too much controversy. If Wilder wins, he needs to move the fuck on. Both of them should. Peace and love.
All right, Sony, great call. Thanks for calling in. We're going to the landlord. Talk to me. All right, we're going to TJ. Talk to me. All right. Oh, there he goes. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. I don't hold on. Can you hear me, Will?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, my bad. Yeah, I don't think that they should take that fight till that fourth fight, man. If either one of them win, man, first of all, I just don't think it's possible with the mandatories they got. You got Pulev still waiting, and then you got Dillian Whyte that'll still be waiting at that time. I don't think the unification gonna happen until September. You gotta think they're gonna be trying to. The only way that fourth fight happens is if Pulev wins against AJ, and then because he would top rank, they put him against Fury, and then for the undisputed match, that's how they roll. But I just don't see it. That's my thought.
All right. Well, it's funny because Fury in the same interview says that he would fight AJ next and gives his reasons as to why he wouldn't be able to fight Dillian Whyte. So he's not thinking about fighting Wilder a fourth time. He's only asking Wilder to fight him a fourth time if Wilder beats him. Because he even laughed at the fact that Dillian Whyte won't get a shot. He says, well, if I win, I got 2 fights with AJ.
I hate that.
Mario? Yeah, I don't know what's up with this connection.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I caught it right away too, so I didn't start talking. But yeah, I hate that. It's like I got 2 fights with AJ. Like, why? Why does it have to be 2 fights? I mean, I get why it has to be in terms of there being, rematch clauses and the economics of it all. But when you're the A side, I get that if you were to win. But again, I don't think that fourth fight would ever be fully off the table based on the economics of it all. Nobody's going to sit here and say that Wilder doesn't bring a lot of money to the table, especially a Wilder that were to come back and, and beat a Dillian Whyte or an Andy Ruiz or whatever and raise his stock. It's just, I don't know. We'll see. Look, Deontay Wilder's already proved he can be competitive with Fury. We got to wait and see how competitive AJ is with Fury. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be the real question.
Agreed. I'm interested in either of the fights, man. Obviously, I would want it to go a certain way, but however they come, I'm interested. We got Mastermind on the line, Plainview.
BoxingVoice.com.
Oloki, you are next, my friend. Por eso lo vuelvo a repetir. La era del Canelo es la mejor porque peleó con los mejores. La suerte es para los mediocres, my friend.
BoxingVoice.com.
Good morning, Ness, Mario, Doomy. How y'all doing today, brother?
What up?
Doing good, man. What's going on? Good to hear from you.
Yo, man, so I wouldn't want to see a fourth fight right away if Wilder is to beat Fury. But I can see it happening just because people overlook, they
talk straight into the mic, champ.
Hold on 1 second.
My man.
Mic check.
How's that?
That'll work.
Yep.
Now.
All right, so Wilder and Fury, when they're about to fight each other, there's animosity, but outside of that, there's a lot of respect between the two. And, I think those guys have a really pretty good relationship outside of when they're fighting each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went ahead into the fourth fight. Like Mario said, the negotiations with AJ have always been kind of iffy. That could all have changed, but also I could see just, there's just that high level of respect, especially with Fury coming out and saying he's not going to ask Wilder to step aside. He's been committed to that third fight. So I wouldn't be shocked if it happened, but I'd rather see whoever wins the third fight kind of move on. And like Mario said, that fight probably can always be revisited, especially if the third one's close. Now, if the third one is anything like this last fight, then, we can kind of close the book on it. But it all depends. And honestly, I would rather see, if we're going to get an undisputed heavyweight, let's get it done before one of these guys gets picked off again by another Ruiz type. But that's my call, fellas.
Good point. That's the big danger in this division is that, it doesn't matter how good you are the heavyweight division, there's always that equalizer. And, that's why I wanted Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather before before something like a Timothy Bradley happened. That's why I wanted Wilder, AJ before something like a Ruiz happened. You know what I mean? Before something like a Fury happened. Well, but Fury's much more understandable, and that's much more. I don't want to use the word forgiving, but it's much easier to, Wilder doesn't lose nearly as much from losing to Fury as AJ losing to Ruiz. And by the way, Wilder gains much more from coming back and beating Fury than AJ ever did from beating Ruiz in the rematch.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that Ruiz was he was a fluke. He wasn't supposed to win. So, you give Wilder the more credit. But I still believe, man, that the fight is you stay in shape, you stay in that hardcore competitive mind state. You go into the AJ fight, you're the crown king. If you win, you got everything. Time is a ticket, man, and waiting around. He's had these bicep injuries. There's just so many things to think about for me not to want him to go straight into this fight, especially if he's healthy, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Isn't that what they say? Get that momentum, and God knows how this opens up. This fight could be huge. I mean, does this fight with AJ happen in the States? That's going to be a big negotiation hump, if you want to call it that. I think because I'm pretty sure Deontay's going to want to fight in America.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Remember, the AJ doesn't have a contract with DAZN. He's fight by fight because they always knew that, pay-per-view would be the biggest way to go. And that's why I said that I think we're so far removed from numbers and A-side and B-side. They see the money. These guys generated 17 million plus in tickets. You think they're going to argue? There's no such thing as A-side, B-side. People already know who Wilder is. If he was able to somehow get this knockout, the undisputed fight is huge. AJ has to go wherever the money is. Wherever the money is. But let me get to Info Joe, California. Wake up.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Rise and shine. What's up, TBV family?
What
Good
up, champ?
morning.
Morning.
What's up, Do Me? What up, Mario? Supermax said, before somebody gets clipped off, like you said, Ruiz, man, let's get this unification going on, man. But that's all I got. Can't wait for the boxing bar battle. Let's go, champs.
All right. Let's go to JT, New Orleans. What it do?
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. We're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'll kill this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yo, good morning, yo.
Good morning, champ.
What's up, man? What's up, Ness?
What up? Good morning, champ.
Yeah, bro. Fury, I think Wilder will.
Cut off?
Yeah.
I cut off?
You did.
You back now?
Yeah, I think Wilder will knock Fury out in this next fight. And then it's going to be another fight after that. So, I mean, I'm just thinking Wilder will come back in shape, more focused. He just go get the knockout and outwill Fury in his next fight. He can't outbox him. He got to outwill him and stuff like that and just be a little smarter. So, then we talking about if AJ go step up and fight Fury. And I'm talking about the topic or y'all talking about something else? Because I heard he's going back and forth with Anthony Joshua and Fury?
Yeah, so Tyson Fury says that if Wilder knocks him out, there won't be no Joshua fight, and there'll be a fourth fight, but they're not contracted to a fourth fight. So, we're talking about what would Fury do if he won. He says he would fight AJ, so why should Wilder fight Tyson a fourth time?
Oh, absolutely. If Fury beats Wilder this time, it shouldn't be no fourth fight and stuff like that. It shouldn't be no fourth fight.
No. If Wilder beats Fury.
If Wilder beats Fury, it's going to be a fourth fight. But if Fury beats Wilder again, it's no fourth fight. He move on to Anthony.
But that's what I'm saying. I gave you 3 minutes and you still ain't get it. Y'all got to do a better job at listening. It's Tyson Fury saying that if he gets knocked out to Wilder, there will not be a Joshua Undisputed. That instead, there'll be a fourth fight with Wilder. Now, did he say that tongue-in-cheek? Who knows? But in the same interview, he says that if he wins, he would be fighting AJ twice, and there won't be a Dillian Whyte fight, So I'm not taking anything he's saying as tongue-in-cheek. I'm taking it as truth, So yeah, that is that. But anyone want to add something before?
I'll add this for everyone. This is essentially, and I'm stealing Ness's point. I want to make sure everybody understands that too. This is Fury laying the seeds, just like Ness said it earlier. This is Fury laying the seeds, saying like, "Look, champ, we don't have any more. Our negotiations are done after this fight. All of the rematch clauses are out the window. But let's be men about this. Let's be fair about this. If I lose, you're gonna give me my rematch, right? Come on, man, you're gonna give me my rematch." And I'm not saying that he's begging, and I'm not saying that Wilder should or shouldn't. I'm just saying that I agree. I think that's absolutely what he's doing, laying that seed to say, "Yo, I need that get back. I know we don't got nothing in contract, but hey, man, come on, spit in your hand, I'll spit in my hand, and we'll shake that and have that man's agreement that if I lose, are you going to give me that rematch just like I gave you that rematch?" The problem is, it's just not the same, though. It's not the same to me. I don't think Wilder has to give him that rematch, and I don't think Wilder needs to give him that rematch. And as bad as Fury might want that get back, I don't think he should take that rematch right away either. Let's visit that fight down the road. We've had enough of Fury Wilder's name together for a few years. You know what I'm saying? And unless something crazy happens, I just
that was a why that he put there by accident. So he says if it was a general though, like if it was a fluke, why'd everybody put money on it? Basically, got
it. Okay, I get it.
If it was a fluke, why'd you put money on the Ruiz to it?
Yeah. Let's see here. We got J-Mac in the New Orleans.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all.
I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from Derek.
He can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him. You want to bet?
You can bet 100,000 on that.
Let's bet $1 million.
Easy. Let's bet $1 million.
Yo, y'all get me?
What up? Good morning.
Oh, hey, good morning. Hey, first of all, if there is a full fight, I do agree with Antonio that it should be like somewhere down. If Wilder beats Fury, I don't think it should. But however, if Fury talking about it, I think the ball is in his court, so he may somehow have to do it. I don't know how the terms are going to turn out. And with Bob Arum being in his corner, I'm sure he going to try to fight for that fourth fight. But in my opinion, I think if Wilder knocks Fury out, Wilder should be able to move on and unify like he should. For his Fury saying 2 fights with AJ, I think somebody was going back and forth with it saying they don't like it like Mario. But if Fury was to move on and fight AJ, Dillian Whyte not into discussion because you're going to have them 2 fights because that's the type of contracts they send out with the AJ camp.
And who the fuck is Dillian Whyte? Why do he even deserve to be mentioned? Who has he?
Now you see, I love it because they call me biased. So that means that you Charlo bias. Because when it comes to Canelo, you don't say who the F is Charlo. And why should Charlo get a fight at Canelo? But when it comes to Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury as the champ, who the hell is Dillian Whyte? Why did he the mandatory? That's why he deserved it. Just like you thought Charlo deserved it as the man. See? But Ness is biased. You see? You only root for your friends. You don't root for boxing. You don't root for what's right. And it's not just singling
favorites.
It's not singling him out. There's a lot of boxing fans that's like that. You know, it's like, if it's good for the goose, why can't it be good for the gander? You know what I mean? If Fury could go straight into the unification, y'all don't even want Fury to give Wilder this rematch. Why the hell are we even discussing Wilder having a full fight with Fury then if he wins? Because y'all biased. Y'all the ones that bias. But anyway, greatness Harlem. We living, man. We living.
I didn't really catch too much on the topic, to be perfectly honest with you. I was just tuned in terms of for the battle. What time we starting, champ?
After this.
Oh, all right. Sounds good, man. So, yeah, man. I'm assuming that it was a great show, man. Definitely got to catch the playback, and I'll speak to y'all soon.
For sure. We got Joshua. Talk to us. Is this Josh in North Carolina?
Can you hear me?
Oh, it is. What up, champ?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It's me.
Yes, sir.
What's up with y'all, man? Hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and put it like this. Man, we can see 5, 6, 7 Wilder Fury fights for all I care, because if Wilder do floor Fury in his next fight, it don't matter, man. AJ do not want to see Wilder. AJ is scared of Wilder, bro. His team know that Wilder is the worst matchup for him. They'd rather face Fury, have it an all-brick clash, whatever, undisputed. But they're not going to face Wilder, bro. Wilder's out the question. They don't want to face him. So after Wilder floors Fury, I'd rather see him just go over there. I like to see him go to the UK and floor Dillian Whyte. But I don't see AJ fighting Wilder, man. He's the WOT, the weakest heavyweight of all time. I'm out, y'all. Salute.
Salute. Landlord. What up? You just listening?
Just listening. Just got on.
You the champ. Sid in Orlando. Just listening? Steve in Chicago.
Yeah, hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Morning, champ.
Hey, I don't want to talk today. Let's give a tribute to the WOT. Play that AJ rap, man. Let's get this shit popping. Come on, play it.
I got you. I got to get to it.
AJ,
well done, yes sir.
I think you could spit a little bar. We give you a couple words.
Come
Maybe
on,
2 words, not
I
4.
like to blow my trumpet and that, do you know what I mean? In my last fight, I had to watch my weight.
Wait.
Eating too much, even though I'm a heavyweight.
Hey!
I'm on time and I'm never ever late. I'm hustling hard so I can go on and be a great.
Hey.
In JD, chilling with my mates.
Wait.
I stay low key, never ever moving bait.
Wait.
Keep it calm, ring the alarm. Man chat, get slapped with my palm.
All right, one sec. Hey! Oh! AJ! Shut down! Yeah.
Don DeMarco.
Yes, sir. Yo, you gotta love AJ, man. You gotta love AJ, yo. He believes in himself too, so loving it. Yeah, he said this never gets old. You're right, yo. That freestyle's timeless. Like it just It's already like a year old and it's still rocking, man. He grabbed the mic the other day too, but it was just like, it didn't really work, you know. It was too much background noise in there. But let's see. Looking like Stainless on the Boomerang. Real quick, actually, let me jump to NO. What up? I mean, NO, you probably just jumping in. Do you even know what's going on, though? Stainless, you gonna go Boomerang? I'll go to J Mac on a Boomerang. Giving NO some time to catch up to what's going on here.
That's the give. See, you go back on here, change your narrative, you get confused who you have arguments with. And let me defend myself on the Charlo debate. First of all, Charlo has been champion at 154 and 160. Dillian Whyte has never tasted a fucking championship or won one. The last time I think he did, if he was, I don't even know if when him and AJ fought, was he fighting for a belt? So my question to you still is, what the fuck has he done to deserve recognition to be talking about fighting other than be promoted by Eddie Hearns? And all the big fights that he should have fought, he never fought them. He found a way. Then he tested dirty for a fucking drug test. So my question to you still is, what the fuck has he done to begin talking about fighting the top heavyweights in the world? Just because we don't have enough meat in the weight class for the fight around and shit like that. So
See, no consistency. So he claims that he's not backing the Charlo on that, and if he was, Charlo's multiple division champ, right? Cool. What about Devin Haney? So you ain't part of the gang that's saying Devin Haney getting ducked by Vasil, and that Devin Haney was the mandatory, and why Vasil taking franchise? Just stop, man. You know, you should just let the shovel go, man. Jay-Z dig a hole, B. For real, stop. Let's see who's next. NO, talk to me.
Ooh, how my audio sound? You hear me?
Crystal clear.
Perfect.
All right. Check this out, man. I'm just jumping in. You're writing that, bro. So I'm just guessing it's a show about Dillian Whyte trying to get a shot at the top. That's what we talking about?
Not necessarily, but he was involved in the Adam Smith interview, and they did mention him. Fury did say that he won't fight him because he'll be busy fighting 2 AJ fights if he beats Wilder, and if he loses to Wilder, he's expecting a 4th Wilder fight.
I don't know about no 4th Wilder fight, bro. I mean, we fucking reaching with that shit, bro. I mean, after they fight one more time, bro, it's time to see something else. We ain't about to do that top rank shit, Ness. You know what I'm saying? We not about to have no.
But why not?
Why not?
Why not? We got Marquez Pacquiao 4, and we got Israel.
And I was burnt out on that shit.
Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez 4.
Nah, man, no, man. Like that's the old model, bro. We not doing like.
It'll make history. They never had a heavyweight, you know, I don't even know what's the right word. 4 fights.
Quadrilogy.
Nah,
I think they have
though. Bro, we ain't trying to see like they can fight like Fury. Like if Wilder win, dog, him and Fury can fight again. Like with Tyson and Holyfield talking about when they get old and shit. You know what I'm saying? That grudge match. You know what I'm saying? But man, bro, AJ and them got to get some of that smoke too, man. I'm not trying to see no Wilder Fury 6, man. Nah, man. This 2020, man. We on some other shit right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times you want to see that fight, Ness?
I ain't saying me. It's Fury. It's Fury saying if he lose Wilder, if Wilder knock him out, that there'll be a 4th fight. That ain't me saying it. I'm just reporting the news.
Yeah, man, but that ain't in the contract, so I ain't really tripping on what Fury said, bro. If Wilder knock him out, man, I want to see the AJ fight, man. I want to see Undisputed, you heard me? And that shit with Dillian Whyte, man, I mean, he just gotta he in the wrong place at the wrong time, bro. I mean, when everybody asks you to step up, you never did what the fans asked you to do, so the fans ain't gonna never back you up with your dream and what you trying to accomplish. Because you never gave up what we wanted.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think you talking about I guess you're talking about the Luis Ortiz situation, right? Maybe even a little bit of Dominic Brazil. But I still rock with Dillian Whyte. He got one of them. He got an AJ resume. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's all said and done, once he get that world title, we won't be saying none of that. If he could get a world title, right? And then you factor in those names that's already on his resume. Bruh, he's sitting sweet up there. He got a lot of little names, man. And he's scheduled to fight Povetkin. That's another good name. You know, we wanted that fight when Wilder was supposed to get it. So I don't mind it. People talk about 40. Don't bring up age, because then when you bring up Ortiz, they're going to bring age up to you. You know what I'm saying? Good for the goose, good for the gander.
Yo, I know I'm not going to be able to finish this while we're on the show, but just as quickly as I've been able to do it real quick, I've not been able to come across heavyweights that have fought 4 times against each other. I mean, Ali, Evander, Foreman, and Tyson are down. So I got Joe Louis, Frazier, Patterson, and a few others I'm checking.
You haven't found that one though, right?
Not one.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's always been a trilogy thing, you know. For me, the Pacquiao and Marquez thing. What's my man's name that passed away in Brazil? I think he was. He used to fight Mickey Ward.
Gotti?
Gotti. Sorry, that they fought 4 times.
No, they fought 3 times.
3 times. So it's.
But like, Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez, like Ness mentioned, did fight 4 times. But that 4th fight is always crazy. You know what I mean? Like something always happens. That 4th fight,
Vasquez doesn't. I watched Vasquez Israel 4, and Marquez.
Yeah, that sucked.
But nothing crazy. I mean, other than because I remember one of them had bad eyes, so there was.
That was what I meant. Like crazy, like it ruined the fight. Like I don't mean crazy, like oh my god, blow. You know, it's
how
whatever.
does a cut ruin the fight? That's part of fighting.
What I'm saying is
that cut versus Ottawa, Wiley, and Fury made it more exciting.
But what I'm saying is that fight, you know, we expected the same as the other 3 fights, and then Israel Vasquez, he had too much scar tissue at that point. You know, he got cut, coming out to the ring, I think. So, that's what I mean. Like it wasn't, and typically people don't even bring up that 4th fight. Like Showtime showed the 3 fights, the first 3, they didn't even show the 4th fight. You know what I mean? So
we got a couple other callers jumped in the UK. We got Coach Mitty. Coach, what up, man? Coach, I jumped on your live stream today with White Collar Boxing, and it wasn't true. There was a white lady there doing aerobics. What's going on?
What up, Ness? No, I appreciate you jumping on the live stream. But we are a team at White Collar Boxing London, so I usually take the Thursdays, and then we cater for everyone, right? So on the Saturday, it's more of like stretching and making sure that everyone understand how to move properly, right? So, but the boxing is more on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I get it. Wink, wink. Saturdays are men's night, and you get your lady instructor. Not us, man. It's your guy Tyson. Tyson is trying to plant the seed in Wilder's mind, saying, "Oh, if you knock me out, you still should give me another fight because." Basically, I've done so well against you. Instead of saying what he's saying, knock me out and go straight into the AJ fight.
Now, I mean, like in terms of like, wanting to put like an immediate rematch in a contract or whatever, that would make sense. But I'm not too keen on having like 4 fights, at least like 3 fights back to back to back, right? So I definitely think that we need to see something else, regardless of the outcome of fight number 3. And while Fury is just trying to antagonize people and I guess like upset people like Dillian Whyte and AJ, and try to see what kind of reaction is gonna get, right? And build up even more interest for those like UK domestic fights. But from a fan perspective, I don't know if you guys can tell me, but I don't remember seeing anyone jumping into like a trilogy, but back to back without anyone in between. And I know it won't be 4 fights back to back, because I think like.
Bro,
I agree.
We couldn't even find it. I mean, honestly, people haven't done this many fights back to back. They take breaks in between. But even tune-ups. Like I remember Marquez always going to Mexico and fighting somebody, then
Great
getting a
point.
Pacquiao fight. Like get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody
what about
does
Rios
what they're
Alvarado?
doing. Rios
Made it
Alvarado, no, because Alvarado beat Rios and then he got a Marquez fight, didn't he?
Yep.
Bro, like people,
You're
that's
right,
what I'm
bro.
saying. People don't do this. The draw is what set it off. That's what set it off. It's the draw because it nulled the contract, so you had to rewrite the contract, which rewrited another rematch. So the draw was like, it became exactly that, like nothing. No rematch, but it was a fight. So the guys had to do it again with the rematch.
So Ali Frazier, there was never a tie. Foreman and Ali never a tied. So yeah, this tied is what makes it.
No, bro, because look, George Foreman comes out and he's like, yo, I want to help Wilder. And that's why I said that's the right connection, because George knows. George took his loss to Ali so bad, because he beat the hell out of Frazier, but he lost bad to Ali in his mind that he took like 10 years off, champ. 10 years off. He turned pastor on us. I never knew. I knew Big George was a pastor and he was selling Foreman grills, but I ain't know Ali sent them into God. That's really what happened, bruh. That's really what happened. He had a freaking he was like my uncle, bro. He had a issue in the locker room. They said it for an hour. He just thought he seen God. He was talking to God. Telling you, and after that he came out.
I still haven't caught that documentary too.
After that he came out that fight a preacher. Yo, so yeah, man. Losses is serious.
Wait, no, he didn't.
What? Yes, he did.
He fought Ron Lyle right afterwards, and then he fought Joe Frazier again.
Go check out.
It wasn't until 77, and then he went missing for 10 years. But he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights after Ali before he ditched out.
No real fights.
He fought Joe Frazier.
Let him tell it. No.
Oh,
he
really?
fought.
That's what he said?
Didn't he fight Frazier before Ali?
Yeah, but then he fought him again after Ron Lyle. It went like this. It went Frazier, Roman, Norton, Ali, Lyle, Frazier.
Well, you know what? You're right, because remember when I first told you about the documentary, I told you guys that when he lost to Ali, he got the bad boy attitude and he started chasing Ali around, saying, "You give me the rematch, give me the rematch." But then eventually Ali never gave him the rematch and he turned pastor. You're right. I did tell you that the first time. Look, go watch the documentary. It's still on, I think, Stars or Epics. It's fantastic. But Mario is right. George would chase him around. He would chase him around. It was funny. And he got this bad boy attitude, bro. He had like leather coats and dark glasses. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Ron Lyle was a good fighter, though. Yeah, I see that in the chat. Yeah, he was. Ron Lyle was
Who
a good
said
name.
that? Old man
Rue.
Troy?
Rue in the 504. No, but he was, though. He was one of those names and shit that if you knew, you knew.
See, someone just said Foreman retired because they wouldn't let him get the rematch, and that's the part I left out. But I did say it when I originally told you about the documentary when it was fresh in my mind.
I do remember that.
He did chase him down. We got some more UK people. Idris in the UK, talk to me.
Yo, what's up?
What up?
I'm like with most of the guys here, man. A full fight is not necessary, man. And I think people are forgetting that if Wilder wins, I think the WBC already got Dillian Whyte into the they want him for the February 2021. If not, AJ double fights will trump that. So I get a bad you know what? I get a bad feeling about Dillian Whyte because I feel like whoever wins is gonna go for a double fight with AJ, and Dylan's gonna stay mandatory for the next year, so he's not going to get a title shot until 2022. And you know him, like he's not like normal people that stick with their mandatory and their interims. Like this guy wants to fight people that can actually beat him. Like he's not out there, like he's not trying to hold on to his interim and his mandatory. He's just taking unnecessary risk. As a white fan,
dog, his interim isn't Nothing. That's why. Like, what do you mean he's not trying to hold on
No,
to
but
his
he's got
interim?
right now. He's the WBC did say February 2021. He's got a title shot, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So if what happens is if he does he need to fight Povetkin? I mean, like that kind of level of opposition, it's good for everyone. But so what happens if AJ fights Wilder or Fury 2 times? Do you think he's gonna fight that level of small level of opposition for the next 3 fights?
I mean, if
or he's
you
gonna take
don't,
risk?
you just risk falling into like oblivion. Remember, it's us that forgets you. Because he's fighting Povetkin, the Boxing Voice already did a show that it might be in Eddie's backyard because it's Povetkin. Did we do an announcement show or a possible announcement show on Shakur Stevenson fighting Rafael Rivera? No, because who the hell is Rafael Rivera? So if you want to remain relevant, you give us the fights that you know we want. If you don't, and you want to do what you say and have some sort of value in your interim title that you can't defend, or rather you can defend it, but, I don't know, man. Interim, like, this last 3 years, the world is starting to push this interim and make it a secondary champion, and it's really messing up the sport because I love Chris Colbert, and he's an interim titleist, and now it's like if he starts saying he's a champ, who am I to say he's not a champ? You know what I mean? Big Nick in the UK, talk to us.
It's just been a while since I last called in, man. Listen, I just want to say, to a lot. So basically, the AJ haters and the Wilder fanboys. At the end of the day, you got to change the narrative, man. Like you can't keep shitting on. Sorry, excuse me, French. You can't keep talking smack about AJ because at the end of the day, the whole heavyweight division and field has changed, did it? There is no Luis Ortiz is out. Wilder, needs to rectify his loss, and the fact is, Whyte is deserving of his shot. So I just want to say, like, people that want to talk smack about Whyte, like, just let it go. Want to talk smack about AJ, just let it go. Let the division. I think we need to be patient and let the division pan out over the next 12 months. That's just my call.
All right. Let's see her. Stonebone, Colorado.
What up? What up? I'm driving. I hope I ain't too choppy.
No, you good.
Okay. Listen, how can we say that if Wilder win that fight, that Fury don't deserve another fight? I'm not, I'm a Wilder fan, but Fury was outboxing him even after getting dropped, the first one to draw. Then Wilder gets stopped. So if Wilder can somehow win, he's not supposed to fight Fury again? Like, I'm not asking for 4-5 of the same fights, but we can't act like this wasn't a competitive fight. We can't act like the first one wasn't controversial. A lot of people say Fury won the first one, so it would be 2-1 in a lot of people's odds if Wilder come back and win. So maybe Wilder should deserve a rematch after that. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. Wilder gonna have to do a lot to be able to get that win back. And if he was to stop Wilder again, Eddie Hearn and AJ is gonna duck him. He ain't getting that fight. They're gonna hope that he lose control and go on another drug binge or something. They're not gonna be looking to try to fight him. They never wanted to fight Wilder.
Wow. Yo, courage right there. Shout out to Stonebone standing on his 2 feet right there. He said if Wilder wins, he still need to give Fury that rematch, and that's how Fury feels. That's how Fury feels. But technically, there will be no contract. I would go for the money fight. I would go straight into AJ because, like, that's just money you can't get that opportunity back. So yeah,
agreed. I agree. Yeah, and we've already seen what happens when these guys take the unnecessary fights or unnecessary risks, and it just ruins plans.
It does, man. It does. And, there would be some big plans in that division if Undisputed could actually take place. But, that's it, man. Catch us on the next one. We will be doing the TBV Boxing Bars in a couple of minutes. We'll probably go live at 11 to give everybody time to set up their Skypes. Because remember, if you are participating, you will be on the main screen under the lights, camera, and the action. And then at the end of tonight's show, we'll be announcing who Mario's going to decapitate next. Just saying. Oh, that's why they hit us with the marginalized right there and hate speech. Because if it's like rap and I say Mario's about to take someone's head off, that sounds
that makes
bad.
sense.
Oh, man.
Catching body, stuff like that. Yeah.
YouTube is so whack. They're going to flag us for that. Yo, and that's GTO, Instagram and Twitter, 30 minutes, and we'll be back at you.
At Mario Mungi on Twitter, at Mario Mungi on Instagram. See you in a few. Peace.